What's going on, everybody? So, I just want to do a little bit of I guess you could say, a ramble update video here, just in some things that I've been working on, or thoughts I have for doing particular um, uh, videos in the future in the channel and what have you. So, with that said, first things first. Hobby wise, I haven't done too much. In fact, the models I'm working on are the same ones I've been working on before the hurricane hit, the Primaris Captain DIY test scheme, which you should really do on a rank and file, not a captain type model in all honesty, but whatever. And then the Sekhmet Terminator. I've been doing more of the Primaris Captain model than the Sekhmet Terminator model because once I started doing the Sekhmet in earnest, once I get the gold dry brushed onto it and then start hitting it with the Tamiya Clear Red, it's going to start being block colored and feeling like it's supposed to real quick, so I'm not too worried about that. I know how that's going to go. The Primaris Captain model, on the other hand, is kind of like walking in the dark. I have to kind of feel it out and get it set up, so I'm focusing more on that. Anyways, that's what I've been doing hobby-wise myself, and I got some ideas for some videos, hobby-wise stuff in the future, some just thoughts to ramble about and whatnot. So that'll be that. From there, let's talk about the channel a little bit. One thing of note is that I don't own any 8th edition codex yet, and there's a reason for that. The reason is I was waiting to see, and I'm glad they finally announced it, but I was really waiting to see when the Dark Angels Codex would get released, because that's my bread and butter right there. And I wanted my first Codex experience in 8th edition for this hobby to be the Force I play. So I wanted it to be Dark Angels, so I can go in blind, read it, and give my take on that, going in completely blind, not having any preconceived notion of Codex layout, Codex fluff feel, and so forth before that. Sounds weird, I know, but I looked at it thinking people who play a particular force will probably get an index book, which is fine. It's just letting you play with what the models you have now without really making the force feel extensive or more like it is. But outside of that, they're not going to go and buy a codex just to buy it. If the typical player, I feel, who plays one force that doesn't want to collect codices like I like to do and some players like to do, is just really going to wait for their force. They may get some exposure to the codex from their buddy's codex for the force they play, but the true diving into it is going to be when they buy their actual force, especially once all the codices start coming out and you have new players coming to the scene and so forth. So I wanted it to be that experience for me, and with the Dark Angels Codex when that comes out, which is probably going to be sometime the last half of November into December. I don't know if it or Blood Angels are coming out first, or if they're coming out at the same time. I like that they're both coming out at around the same time. However, it's very much a nice callback to Codex Angels of Death, which was those two forces in one book, which was just a thing from back in the day, and it's cool to see that kind of be the case here, albeit just as two books coming out around the same time. It just makes a lot of sense. Anyways, so I don't have, like I mentioned, any 8th edition codex yet. So things such as at a glance and the like can't really happen yet until I start getting a book. So at a glances will be happening again, but I'm going to be getting Dark Angels Codex first, reading through that, then I can do some updates. And that's going to be the big theme of at a glances until it's all done, the 48 videos are updated, is the fact that I want to redo all the at a glances I've done. I was giving it some thought, and I think originally I said in a prior video I probably won't, but I'm thinking I'm going to be redoing all the at a glances now, because the more I think about it, the more I feel it makes sense to do so. And here's why. Hear me out. The 7th to 8th edition change was fundamental enough that nothing could carry over. Everything had to be built from the ground up, you could say, for it, codex wise and so forth. So why should I keep a video that's referencing something that is obsolete and does not carry over at all? If I had a video done from 5th to 6th or 6th to 7th during that time, it could stay more or less, because, well, yeah, the word changes. It was common enough and close enough to each other that stuff stated for a particular force and a codex and all that really wouldn't matter unless the updated codex was so radically different, which really hasn't been the case. So just in Space Marindom, the whole edition of Primaris changes things to talk about in At a Glances. And then we look at things like Astra Militarum getting regimental doctrines back to actually feel like each regiment having its, or a lot of regiments having different feels now fundamentally, not just paint scheme and model look. Craft World Eldar, same thing. Tyranids got that treatment as well. Seeing that happen, which is a good thing, just further sparks my decision of redoing the entire At a Glance series I've done thus far, which is 48 videos. So I'm sure some people are rolling their eyes about that, but I think it's for the best. And I'm not going to just focus solely on that. I will be doing new At a Glances as well from suggestions and so forth alongside the updates. And it's going to be spotty until I start getting more codices, because I'm going to get the Dark Angels Codex first, so Angels of Vengeance will probably be the first At a Glance update I do. And then from there, you know, once I get, let's say, the Eldar Codex, I can start talking and redoing the Eldar and Tyranids and so on and so forth. So it's just going to be a work in progress once it starts in terms of acquiring the books, because I like to collect the books, but I want to also buy them not willy-nilly. I want to be fiscally responsible when I purchase books like this, so it'll take some time. But all 48 will get redone once their codex comes out and I purchase said codex, as well as new ones coming in the future as well. So that's my current plan for At a Glances. I want to really kind of ramble about that here. I'm going to put it in the video title just to further reinforce it, because that's what's going to happen. It's not gone. It's just in hibernation still until I start getting the codices again. Pre-Heresy and codices is still waiting, because I don't have codices yet either. But that will get redone as well. And the tactic I had in the past is the same tactic, which is going to be, I'm going to redo like the intro ramble, and I'm going to redo legions that have enough Forged support. But the ones that don't will get in parentheses the word outdated in them. So they'll stay up as a placeholder basically, but they're not updated. The ones that are updated will just say Pre-Heresy and codices and whatnot and be fine. So that should be fun to do once I start again getting codices to do that. And also I just wanted to, as a personal curiosity thing, wait until the Horus Heresy rulebook comes out, which is delayed, which is interesting. So once that comes out, hopefully I'll be able to get it soon thereafter, just to look through it and then get some codices and start that whole process of Pre-Heresy and codices. That's a fun series to do as well. And those two things, doing those again, will definitely be a lot of fun. At a Glances and Pre-Heresy and codices, and then continuing my At a Glances. So that's kind of just some like series concept updates here for the channel, plus other random topics I'll be doing throughout, because I don't have everything set in stone as topics to do, just thoughts in general. So outside of that, not too much else to really talk about here. I have been a little bit disconnected from the hobby for a while now. Hobby isolation is what I call it, and that'll definitely be a topic for a video in the future as well. Plus there'll be more ramble casts with and without help from somebody else in the future as well. I got some topics there, and all in all, just going through it and just having fun, because I do this as a hobby, as part of the hobby for fun. So I don't have any real set release schedule for things, because it just happens when it happens. So thanks very much for everybody who subscribed to this channel. If you are a new subscriber, welcome. If you've been around for years, again, still welcome, and thanks for sticking through this and stopping by. A lot of what I do here is just to put my 2 cents out there, to just be a platform for discussion in the comments as well, if people want to do that, and just have fun with it. So I'm always open to suggestions for topics and ideas and so forth, so don't be afraid to pose a question or a thought there as well. Anyways, that's really it. So thanks very much for sticking through this ramble, and until the next one, take it easy.